In this series, we are going to create the 3D opening scene you just watched. We will start with the basics like viewport navigation and work our way up to animating and rendering the entire scene. So without further ado, let's start our journey from zero to hero. Before we start making anything fancy, we need first to learn the basics like viewport navigation, moving stuff, etc. So let's go. So when you open Blender, you will be faced with this viewport. I know it looks scary at the beginning, but don't worry, I will explain it in an easy way that you will understand. First of all, this big window is the 3D viewport. It's where you will make your object and create your scene. Whatever you create right here will be shown right here in the outliner. The outliner is basically a way to organize your scene. For example, our scene right here, the default scene, have a cube, which is this one, a light and a camera. You can rename this object or put them on a folder, which is called the collection in this case. This right here is the options and details. You can think of this as the properties. You have some general properties like the render engine, the world background, etc. And you have some properties that depend on what object you select. For example, if you select the camera, you have these options of the camera. If you select the object, you have this material options. This right here on the top is the default workspace. You have some default workspace that are made for you to use. For example, if you go to the sculpting, this is the sculpting workspace, texture painting workspace, etc. Okay, this down here is the timeline. It's where you get all your animations. Right here, this is a solid viewport. It's where you see your object. This solid viewport does not show material and does not show the light. If you go to the second one right here, the viewport shading, you will get to see your material. For example, if you select our object, go to material, you can change the color of your object, but if you go to solid mode, you will see nothing changed. But in this shading, you can see the change. And if you go to the render viewport, this is the render viewport. It's where it interacts light with the material, because in the material right here, the light basically is not calculated. Okay, this right here is the wireframe. If you press it, you can see the wireframe of your object. And this right here is the X-ray. If you press it, you can see through your object. Okay, so let's go back to the solid viewport. These options and these options will be explained later. These options right here, this view, for example, is for the options of the viewport. If you press view, you can check the toolbar here, or you can check it back. Okay, or you have the sidebar here, or you check it back, like N as a shortcut. Modes here are different modes that can be used to do different stuff, but for the moment we are only going to speak about the edit mode, which allow you to modify your geometry or your mesh. These modes here depend on what you are selecting. If you go this, you will not get it. Okay, this right here will be explained later on. Now let's talk about navigation, but first thing, go to edit, preferences, then input. If you don't have a numpad, press on this emulate numpad. Here, if you hold left mouse button and hold, you can move around your scene. You can select the top view right here, or the right view right here, like you can see it, or the front view, or middle mouse button and move, and you can see around it. Okay, if you press 1 on the numpad, you go to the front, 3 on numpad right, and 7 on the numpad for top. If you press 9, you will get the opposite. So if you are in top and press 9, then you go to the bottom. If you are on right and press 9, you go to the left. Let's move it, the middle mouse button and move. Okay, if you want to zoom in and out, go to this thing right here, press on it, then move in or out to zoom in, or with the middle mouse button, scroll in or out. With this, you can move around your scene. So press and move, or you can hold shift and middle mouse button and move. This you can go to the camera view. So this camera right here, if you press on it, you go to see from it. Okay, or you can press 0 to go to it. This right here is the orthographic view or perspective view. We are now in the perspective view. If you press on it, you go to orthographic, or press 5. You go to perspective, 5 again to go orthographic. Go to the end of the screen. You will get this thing up here. You can click with the left mouse button, hold on it and move. You can get now to split the screen as you want. Or you can go to this black line of separation and with the right mouse button, click, split. You can do it here or here or horizontal. Let's do it again. Let's get a vertical one here. Let's say you want to join this, can click with the left mouse button, keep clicking and move. You get to merge it like that. You get to move it, merge it like that. Or you can go to this black line again and you will see that you have the join areas and you choose, you join it like that or you join it like that. Here with this appearing here, you can have different editors. Here you have the 3D viewport, but you can have the shader. You can have the timeline just like this one. Oh, I forgot to say something. Like if you have it like that, you can see like your options here and here are not fully appearing. So with the middle mouse button, you can move it like that. Select an object, then go to move tool right here. Press on it. The red line is the x-axis, the green line is the y-axis, and the blue line is the z-axis. Okay? Or press G to move it and press again to confirm your new location. Or you can press G and to restrict the movement in only one axis, press X or Y or Z. Always, if you want to confirm your selection, just press again. So J to move it, then only on X to move it where you want, then click again to confirm where to put it. Okay? The same thing for the rotation and for the scale. Select it, then go to here. You can get on every axis, or press R, then choose what axis, X on axis X or Y or Z, and press again to confirm. The same thing for the scale. Choose the scale. You can scale it on Z, on Y, on Z, or press S, then X, Y, or Z, or just S and move if you want to move it uniformly. Okay? And this right here, you get every tool in one place. So this here is a move or rotate or scale. These options right here, as you can see, now the transformation happen on global, but if you go to local, you can move it like this. Normal, the same thing, because it faces the normal of that face. Or global, again, to move it like that. These are the origin point location. This is to snap it to a grid or something. You choose it right here. We'll talk about it later. And this is for proportional editing. We'll speak about it later on. Now we have learned so much about basics. First of all, good job, my dear friend. You have made it so far, and you should be proud of yourself. The real question, how to create anything. So let's start with the Blender tradition and delete the cube. To delete anything on Blender, you select it, then right mouse button, and you have the delete option with the shortcut. Or you can go to the outliner and select it, then right mouse button on it, then you have the delete option with the shortcut. The shortcut for this is either X or delete. Let's delete it. Bam. To create anything, you go to the added menu, and now you have all these options to create, from mesh to lights to camera. Let's add a basic shape. The basic shapes are named mesh. So inside mesh, you can have cube, sphere, or whatever you want. Let's create a sphere. When you create any object or anything basically, you have these options that appear right here. If you press on it, you have these options for the sphere, like the segments, which are this. Let's make it, for example, 8 or 12 just to see it. Or here you have the rings that go around. Let's make them 8 or 6. And you can create. You have like the radius, the location, and the rotation. If you press away, you will lose those options. But if you press F9, you get those options back. Let's say you select your object, then you move it. Now you have new options that appear here. It's the options for the move tool. If you press away, then press F9. You get the move tool options. So F9 will get you back whatever options you had last. As a shortcut, you can use Shift A. You get the same menu right here. So you can have the mesh or whatever you want. So let's go to mesh and create a cube. And now you have these options for the cube. Or you can use this right here. This one will give you some basic shapes that you can create in the fly. So let's go. You added, for example, this cone. So you have this up here for you, which allow you to create that shape right here anywhere. So we can go here and just do this. We can make it like this, we can make it like this, but if you press Shift and keep pressing, you will get it proportional like that. If you release the left mouse button and keep pressing Shift, you will get it proportional. But if you release the Shift and just move, you can move it. Let's put it like that. And you have these options that appears. So what if whatever you want to create does not exist in this list? For example, you want to create a sword. In that case, you go to the edit mode. And inside the edit mode, you will modify the shape until it looks like a sword. So how to access the edit mode? You select the object that you want to modify. And if you remember, in this modes, we have the edit mode. Or let's go back to the object mode. You select the object, then you press tab and tab again to go out of edit mode. So as you can see, every object that you create is made of this basic element. Each object is made of vertex. This right here allow you to select vertex. So press here and go and select this vertex. Two vertex will give you an edge, which is this one. And if you go right here and press on edge, you can select the edge. Let's go back to the face. If you select 3 points or more, you have a face. So this for faces, this for edges, and this for vertices. So go out of edit mode by pressing tab again. Let's select this object, for example, and let's access the edit mode. If you enter edit mode, we can see it clearly here. If you select two vertices, you have this edge selected. So an edge is a connection between two vertices. A face is a connection between either a 4 vertices or 3 vertices. By modifying this faces or edges or vertices, you will get different shapes. So here you can just select this and go to move tool and just move it up, for example. And you can see it's no sphere anymore. The same thing goes for here. Like if you go out of edit mode, then select your cube, then enter edit mode again by pressing tab. Now you can easily go down, go to faces, select the face. In the move tool, you can get it looking like that. And then select this and make it look like that. And if you select this edge right here, go to edge and select this edge, you can make it look like that, which is looking a little bit like berserk sword, big sword. Okay, so each time I need to do this, I need to go up. Actually, there is a shortcut. You can press 1 on the keyboard to go to vertices, or 2 on the keyboard to go to edges. Like 1 for vertices, 2 for edges, and 3 for faces. And all the transform options that we used before on object, we can use on these faces. So for example, we can select this face and go to rotation and rotate it. Or we can press S and then make it bigger. And we can modify objects like that to make them look exactly as we need. While we are working on the PC, we are not going to use a lot of these edit options because we are going to use them when we start adding details to that PC. I am going to explain each tool of this and we are going to get to there. So I hope you keep going with me. We will begin our modeling journey by creating the basic shapes for our scene. This is called the blocking phase. It's a crucial step in any 3D project because during this phase, you can experiment with your composition and overall scene without wasting time modeling unnecessary details. This way, you won't find yourself realizing later that the details aren't useful or need to be changed. Luckily, I already have a composition in mind for us to work on. We will block out the basic shapes of our PC and the controller to make sure the proportions are right. Once we start adding details, everything will look nice and well proportional, just like in the reference image. So let's start blocking. Now let's create our shape. So select all of this, then press X to delete everything. Let's create a new object, Shift A, mesh, then let's select a cube. Okay, let's move this cube up, J, then Z, and move it up. Okay, now let's enter edit mode. Go to object mode and choose edit mode. Now let's select this. Here you have maybe vertex or edges. Let's go to faces, select this face, and either press J then Z, or using this, just get a little bit up, whatever make you feel better. Okay, then you can go a little bit down again. While selecting this, press this and then scale it. If you scale it like this, it's move a lot, so press shift and hold and just move to move it slowly. So let's move it like that, something like this, and then let's keep it like that. Select this again, press S, and while holding shift, let's make it move a little bit. Okay, let's go to object mode. I think it needs to be a little bit wider, so select your object S, then restrict to only Y axis by pressing Y and just move it on Y. Okay, same thing goes from here, S, then X, just on X. I think like that it looks awesome. Now go to the edge of the screen, left mouse button and hold to create a new window. Okay, if you press 0, you can go to the camera view, or press this to go to the camera view. If you move, you will go out of the camera view. So press 0 to go into the camera view, then press N, go to view and choose lock to camera view. Press N again. Now whenever you move in the viewport as usual, this will make the camera move with it. So like this, like if you go out, you can see it right here, so it's moving. Okay, let's put it like that. Now let's press N again, unlock, and just leave it like that. You can see how it will look while moving this. So press tab to enter edit mode, go to select. Okay, now we kind of reversed it, so this is the front face. Okay, this is the front, so let's make this, select this, press on it, then shift and select to select them both, S and X to make it wider. Select this face, then J and Z to get a little bit up. Okay, something like that. Now let's go to object mode and keep pressing and choose a cube. Let's put it right here and bam, and just put it. Okay, go to selection again, select this object that you just created, enter edit mode by pressing tab, then if you are on vertices mode, press 3 to go to face mode and just select the face, J and Z to move it up to here, then press A to select everything, then J and Y to move it on Y to make it a little bit inside. Then select this face and shift and select the second face and just S and on X to make it go like this. Then select this face with left mouse button, then only either J on Z or just go to transform and move tool and make it go down like this. So it should be around here. Okay, something like that. With will added the face inside, should be like that. Go out of edit mode and then select this, enter edit mode again with tab, then 3 to be on face, and then select this face and just move it a little bit down. Again, go out of edit mode by pressing tab, select this object, enter edit mode, press here and just move it a little bit to have this a little wide. You can see it here how it looks, and I think we can make it like this. Just edit mode again and just select this face, J and Y. I think something like that is good. Then go back to object mode, go to this, add the cube, and just add a small cube right here, and just bam, this should be the cassette. Let's move it a little bit. Let's scale it on X, S, then X to scale it on X, S and Z to scale it on Z, and just make it go down. So basically we are using whatever we created, S and Y, to scale it on Y. So we basically are using whatever you used before and just made this object with it. Okay, then top view, and just go right here, try to make it in the middle. Let's create a little cube like this and just give it some up to be the button right here. Okay, and let's move it. Now we have created this basic shape, basically just editing the geometry and making this. Now let's create the controller. Go to added a cube and just add the cube, hit it up, something like that. Edit mode, JZ, and move it down. Here press N, lock to camera again, just go a little bit back. Let's go to selection again and just leave it like that because I think it's big enough, or maybe that's too big actually. So yeah, it's too big, so select this and just move it a little bit, and from here it's okay. Okay, I'm just following the reference and try to create the basic shapes. Now let's go to object mode, go to this, press and hold and choose the cylinder. Just move this, press shift and just move it like that. I think this should be a little bit smaller, but not on the Z. So press S, then shift and Z. Like that you restrict the movement only on X and Y. So you restrict the scale only on X and Y. So let's make it a little bit smaller like this, and let's just go here and go to sphere and just create a sphere. Hold shift, then release and keep holding shift and press again. Now you have this. Let's make it 32 with 16, and now we have this. So J and move it on Z, then J and move it on Y, oh I mean X, J and move it on X, and just something like that. J, like just go to front view and get closer. You can just move it with J actually in front view, and then J and Y, J and Y, and just like that. You can make this a little bit smaller, move it down and move this down. Okay, something like that. Now if you want to duplicate this, select it, then right mouse button and choose duplicate object, shift D. You can duplicate it and restrict the movement with X to move it only on X. Now let's talk about selection. If you press this and hold, you can have all these options. You have the tweak, which is the first one. So if you press on object, then keep pressing, hold it and move. You can move it, or press X to move it on X, Y or Z. So it's like having the grab tool or the move tool with the selection at the same time. Okay, the second one is the select box. It's basically when if you press and hold, you can create a box that allow you to select multiple things. For example, if you select this, then while on the box selection and keep pressing, hold and move, nothing will happen. You will just create this, which allow you to select multiple things. The circle selection, if you press and hold, you can move and select multiple things at the same time and keep selecting. It's really more showed better. Like if you go to edit mode, let's select only one face, like we are in the box selection, go to the select circle. If you press and hold, you can like draw your selection. Okay, if you press and keep pressing and scroll up and down. You can make the selection get bigger or smaller. Okay, the select lasso will allow you to create this for selection. Like you can just, let's say, move it like that, and you know, just do this, for example. Now you have selected all this. Let's go back. For me, I prefer the selection box because I can select with one, or I can do B selection. Let's say we want to create the button. So let's go to the front view by pressing 1, and then let's get closer and select all this. Let's select the bottom half. The first thing that you will remark is that if you move it right now, you did not select the back faces. This is because it's an option in Blender. So let's go to vertices mode by pressing this, or by pressing 1 to not select the back faces right here. So if you do this, for example, you will only select this and not select the back faces. Okay, this is pretty handy because sometimes you don't really want to select any back faces, you only want to select the front faces. But in our case, we want to select actually the back faces. So press 1 to go back to the front view again, and go here. Go up. Now you can't see the rest of the options, so press middle mouse button, hold and move it to get other options. Here it comes the utility of the X-ray mode and the wireframe mode. If you go to X-ray, let's go this, and then go to X-ray, the X-ray mode, you get it like this. It will be X-raying, so you can see behind it. Now if you press and move, you can do this, and now you have selected everything. The same thing if you are in the wireframe mode, like if you are in the wireframe and just bam, you have selected everything. You can actually jump from a mode to another by pressing Z. If you press Z, now we are in the wireframe, then Z again, you can go to the solid, Z again, you can go to the render, and Z again, you can go material preview. Let's go back to solid. Let's take off the X-ray so we can see it. Okay. What I usually do is just press Z, then go to wireframe and just select whatever I want to select, then Z again and go back to solid. So I just jump from this to this or back to select things. Okay. One another thing that I wanted to say is if you go here, keep pressing and choose tweak. But what if you are in the tweak mode and you want to have a box selection? You can press B. Like if you are in this mode and you press B, you get this. So if you press and hold, you can do a box selection. Okay, so let's go back to the select box. Another thing that I wanted to say, let's go back to here, faces. If you select this face and press shift and press again, you will select another face. Again, you can select another face, and like that you can select multiple faces. If you hold shift and press again on any of these faces, you deselect it. Okay, so let's select them back. If you press this and then control and you select this face, you will select all this from this point to this point. The same thing happen if you are on one vertices mode. Like if you press this shift, you can select multiple ones, press them again with while holding shift to deselect them, or shift and control and press again to select all this rank. The same thing for edges, with shift holding, then just check this and control to select all this. Okay, if you want to select a loop, like the full loop, for example this, double click on it, double click, and you can select this loop. If you double click on one, then shift and double click on the next one, then shift and double click to select multiple ones. If you double click on this, you will select this. This happen with faces too. So if you are in face mode, if you double click close to this edge, you will select this loop. If you double click close to this edge, you will select this loop. The same thing for vertices. So go to close to this edge and double click, you will select all this edge. If you go close to this edge and double click, you will select all this edge. And this is basically the selection options that we have. Now let's go back to making this. So let's go back to the front view with 1, then Z, then choose wireframe, and then press 3 to get the face selection. And let's delete all these faces. Press X and delete. Now press 2 to enter edge mode, Z and get solid, and let's go and see it. This, select it, double click on it to select all this loop, then press E and just press Z to hold it like that, and just do this. Okay. Now we have this, which is like a button. Now let's go to select mode and J and Z and move it down. We will need to squash it a little bit, so press S then Z and squash it on Z to give it this shape. Like hold shift to make it move slowly, and this is good. Shift D then press X to move it on. Let's get this closer and let's make them both smaller. And here we go. You can smooth an object by selecting it, then shade smooth or auto smooth. Shade smooth is good for circular object, and auto smooth is better for shapes with angles, like for example the square or this, because if you press this you can precise at what angle it will not smooth that object. Now we basically have created our main object. You can keep tweaking it until you like it. So now we made the object from some basic shapes, and using these shapes now we have a good look on the proportions of the object, and we can see that we are getting it correct. Now we can go to add more details. Right now our scene is as basic as it can get, so it's time to start adding the details. In this video we will explore several editing tools to help bringing our scene to life. So now let's add more details to our object by editing it. Select the object, then enter edit mode. Go to object here and choose edit mode. You can go back to edit object mode if you want, or press tab to enter the edit mode and tab again to go out of the edit mode. Let's go to the edit mode. Let's start with this going inside right here, but as you can see we have an edge going from here, and we have that crease right here that goes through all the object. So let's start with adding that. To add a loop, we first go right here. If you press loop cut, you can add a loop here or here. You can add as much loop as you need. Okay, let's say we want this loop to get closer, so you go here and you just get it closer. It's something like that. Okay, let's get closer and see. Okay, something like that. Yeah, like something like that. And you press another one and just add it like that. As you can see, you have more options here, so you can 1, 2, 3. You have more cuts if you need. You can modify those, so if you get this close right here and you just do this, you can modify it in this way if you need. Let's get it back to 0, or you can make it even this way if you need that. So let's get it close right here. Okay, bam. Okay, then you can add more, but if you don't need to add more, you can go out of the loop cut by just going to the selection right here. Now you don't need this. As you can see, now you lost this, but what if you still need those options? So press F9 to get them back, and you can modify it back. Okay, okay. Let's do the same thing. Let's add it here. So you can just go to the loop cut, press once. You can add more, but just let's do it this way and put it right here. And you can add more, like press this one and just go back down. Let's move and see, and here we go. Okay, and you can add one like that, but there is a shortcut that I wanted to show you, which is Ctrl R. It gives you the same thing. You can put it here, or you can scroll up to get more, or scroll down to get less. Okay, and if you press once, you put it down, and if you press again, you put it. What if you want to move this edge to get it a little bit closer to this? You can press twice to select all the edge loop, as you can see, then press J and Z. But as you can see, you modify the geometry if you do that, and this is not what we want. So what do? J twice, and you can slide the edge through the object, and let's put it right here. Okay, I want this to be a little bit up, so let's give it more, and here, and let's get J, then Z, and just get it a little bit closer. Okay, here we go. Now we have this, which look Nice. On the edge, if you put it right here, you get the same options you get before. You can add more edges, and you can slide it just like before. Now let's hide this object. You can either go here and hide it and show it again with this eye, or you can select the object and press H, and as you can see, it's closed eye. If you press Alt H, you get it back. It's the open eye again. So let's hide this like this and enter edit mode with tab and go to select faces. Let's select these faces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have selected all these faces. Now press X or Supreme to delete all these faces. Okay. Oh, this is our thing. Let's get it up. Actually, so let's put it right here. Now, to close this big hole right here, press 2 to go to the edge, or press here. Select the two edges and right mouse button. You get these options. These options are basically a mix between the edge options and the face options and some vertex options. So it is these options in one place just by clicking the right mouse button. And you even have some more options like new face from an edge. You can do this. Let's do this again. Like, let's select all these edges, then all these edges, then press, then this, you get to close it. Okay, let's select all these edges. To select multiple edges, just select one, then shift the second one, shift the third one, and if you want to deselect one, just keep pressing shift and press again. Okay, so this, and this, but this time let's use this shortcut, which is F. Okay, here we have this edge a little bit up, so let's go to edge mode right here and just J then Z and just get it down. If you don't want to use the shortcut or you forgot it, you can just do this, like get this, and with the gizmo just get it a little bit down. Okay, nice. And now let's get our object back with this or with Alt H. Here is our object. We need to do the same thing for this one, but as you can see, if we enter edit mode, we don't really know how to do it in the same line as them. So one way to do it, select both objects and press tab. You can enter edit mode in both of them and modify them both without them being a one object. Okay, the same thing happens, like if you select them both and do edit mode, you enter the edit mode. So now let's get these lines in the same like way. So if you press 1, you are in the front face. If you press 3, you are in the side face, like it's the right orthographic. So now let's get it right here. So you can either do this as we were doing and then just get it really close like this, or you can press Ctrl R, click once, get it really close like this, then press again. Okay, now you have this. As you can see in the right orthographic here, let's get this from our faces, not really straight with it. Okay, so let's fix that. Let's select this R on X and rotate it a little bit, but to rotate it a little, like if you start moving it, it move a lot. So R, X, then press shift to move it just a little bit. Okay, then J, Z, and move it with shift just a little bit. Let's get it in the in better position. Here we go. Now our object is like this. Okay, and this object is like this too. So now let's start with the second big options that we have here. We can extrude these faces to the inside and create that crease, but I think first we need just to add some bevel so we don't have problems when we extrude to the inside. So let's use the bevel tool. To use the bevel tool, select an edge and then go to the bevel tool, which is this one. Press on it, and then you have this. You can select place to bevel it. Okay, you get these options. One, you can bevel on vertex or on edge. In our case, we want the edges. You can here specify the width, how many segments you need. In our case, maybe we need only 3 or just 1. And here you can have a harden normal. The second thing that you will use a lot is custom. If you go to custom, you can modify how this will react. Here you can just make it different. Like if you use steps, you get this shape and you can make them as steps. If you go to default, you get them straight. If you can supporting loop, you get it like that, like this and this, and here you can see it is the same way, like it's following. So here you can actually precise what preset you need. Like if you put it like this, you will get it like that, and this, and if you added more edges, you can see it even better. So let's get it back to the default. You will get it straight, and you know you need it to be a little bit rounded, so let's try to round it a little bit in the middle to just give it some round shape like that. Now you have this, and as usual, if you want this back, just press F9. So now like this. Let's do selection mode again. The shortcut for this is Ctrl B. If you press Ctrl B, you will get this, which allow you to do the same thing. Like Ctrl B, if you move it, you precise how big it will be. Scroll up and down to precise how much edges you will need, and when press to confirm, you will get the same options that you had before. Okay, so double click, then shift and double click, then shift, double click, then shift and double click, then Ctrl B and just give it some bevel. I don't want it to be bevelly a lot, so just a little bit. Some bevel will be good. Let's confirm. A little bit like this is actually pretty nice. Okay, good. You can keep it actually like that. Let's do the same thing to this one. Enter edit mode with tab, then with edge selected in this, or by pressing 2 in the keyboard. Select these edges, then shift and select double click, then shift and double click, then shift and double click. Okay, okay, Ctrl B and give it some bevel. This needs to be a little bit more curved, so let's do this. Let's add it one and just let's confirm, and now we have this like that. Okay, nice. Don't forget to save. Okay, because I did not save for a long time. Now let's get to extrude. Select them both and enter edit mode. Okay, so go to 3, press 3 and choose the face mode, and just go here, double click close to the edge, then go here and press shift and double click close to the edge, then go here, close to the edge, shift and plus double click. Shift is to keep them all selected. Okay, now let's use the extrude. We can use either extrude region, manifold, along normals, and individual. Okay, so extrude region, it will extrude, but as you can see, it's not what we want. If you think about it, we want each face to extrude along its Ctrl Z, it's along its normals. Okay, so you can go either along normals or individual. If you do individual, they will be like that, not what we want. But if we select along normals and do this, we'll get them inside, which is exactly what we want. Shift and move to make it go inside slowly. Okay, here we go. Now we have this, which is nice. Let's Ctrl Z to go back. You can do the same thing with a shortcut, which is Alt then E. and you get all these extrude options that you have right here, but with Alt E you get them here. So let's do along normals again and shift and just go inside a little bit. Good. Now it is looking like that, which is nice. If you press right mouse button and choose the shade auto, it will look so smooth and so nice, actually. Pretty good, I would say. Okay, so let's get it back to being a shad flat and let it like that. Nice. Now let's make the screen right here. So in the edit mode, first select this face by 3 or press in here, then go to the inset tool, which is this one, inset, and you can choose how much you want to inset it. You can go to like this, let's say this, and you have all these options for the depth if you want to go inside, for the thickness, and boundary if you want it to be like not respecting boundaries, we want to respect boundary, and you can set all these options depending on what you need. Okay, so let's go back, edit, how to do this with E. Just press E, just like this. Okay, let's fix this. So here, let's select with the edge selection, let's press this and control and press this last one. You get to select all this, then shift and control and select the last one. Okay, so S and Z and just make it smaller here. Now we have this. Now let's make this face inside. So go select the face and using the extrude tool, you can just, you don't really need the region, you just need one and just bam, make the face enter. Okay, and now we even have the bevel with it, so that's nice. Okay, good. Now we have made this. Now let's make this button, which is the same way. Like press 7 to go on top view, then enter edit mode with tab or with edit mode, then Control R or with the loop cut, just press once and move it. Let's give it some space. Shift, let's do the same here and let's give it some space. Okay, let's do this with Control R because we need it basically almost right here. Let's put this, and we need this to be a little bit. Control R and just put it with the second confirmation, press again. Okay, so now let's select all these faces and let's just extrude to the inside. Okay, like just extrude to the inside using this or with E, and here we go. Don't forget that this go a little bit down here, and let's just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, now we have this. It is the press of the button. Let's hide the button just to work better. H to hide it, and let's enter edit mode. As you can see, let's make it a little bit extruded inside here just to have something. It's a chance to get to know a new tool, which is the knife tool. So press on the knife tool, you get this, which is like a knife. You can select a point, say this, and just keep going to the other point, and then press again and press enter to confirm again. Just select this point right here, then keep going and press to get this. You can start moving, but we just want this for now, and enter to confirm this to selection. Then go back to the selection tool. Let's make it in the middle because this one is not in the middle, so let's make it in the middle. Let's put it right here. Nice. Now 3 to select the face, then go to face selection and select this two. Press E and extrude it a little bit to down. Okay. As you can see now, if you go to the vertex mode here or with 1, we can see that we have here 6 vertex, and this is an n-gon. N-gon is a face that have more than 4 vertex. This is important when you are doing animations or that object deform. But if your objects don't deform and you are not doing animations, you can work with n-gons. But if there is animations, as I said, or deform, in that case we need it either to be a quad 4 or to be 3. To make it 3, it's actually pretty easy. Just select 2 points that you want to join together with an edge, and you can right mouse button, and you have this connect vertex path. Bam, you connected them. You can do this, select a vertex, then shift and select the other vertex and press G. Okay, do the same thing here. This two, right mouse button and connect path, and this two, right mouse button and do this. Okay, that's nice. Okay, now let's make this one. So go to the top view, Control R, and just select. And as you can see, we make another one, G twice, just to get a little bit closer. Then here, the same thing, and just put it like that. Then Control R again, and just put it like that. Control R again, and just put it like that. Okay, now we have this. Now let's hide this. Okay, and just 3 to select face mode, and just go this one. Now extrude E and just put it inside. If we want it to be a little bit bevel, so let's just select these edges, double click, then shift and take this one, then shift and double click, then shift and this one. Let's do the same thing for the inside faces. This, shift press, shift press, and shift press, and then Control B, and just make it a little bit. No, don't make it big, just 2 is more than enough, just to break shape. We can do the same thing for this one. So select this, this, and just shift this one, shift this one, shift this one, and shift. Oh, I could just press Control and double click to select a ring. I forgot that. So Control B, and let's do a little bevel. There we go. Just to not make it, to give it some smoothness. Okay, so let's unhide this. And let's unhide this. Actually, let's finish the button. If you go to see the button, we did not finish it yet. So edit mode, Control R to add a new edge, Control R, added another one, then go to face mode, select it, then E, get a little bit up. You can make it a little bit smaller with S, just to give it some shape, and you can select these two and just J and Z, make it go down. Then go to edge with 2, so press 2 and go to edge mode, just select this edge, then Control P, just give it some, bam, nice. And we can make this bevel too if you need. Now it looks like this. Okay, nice. Now let's add that small button here. We can actually press 1 to get the front view. Let's get close. Then let's go to the knife tool. Let's make it right here. Press once, then press again, then press again, and press again, and press this. Then enter to confirm. Go to the vertex mode with 1 right here and just select. Let's get these two straight together. One way to do it is by pressing S, then Z, then 0 to make it straight. Let's do the same thing for this one. Select these two, S, then Z, then 0. Let's do this too. This will be on probably on Y. So S, then Y, then 0. Okay, to get it straight, S, then Y, then 0. Now go to face mode with 3 or with this and just extrude it to the inside. before we extrude, let's see, it seems big if you ask me, so let's get it a little bit smaller. So in edge mode, just select this edge, J on X, and just move it. Let's make it a little bit J, then Z, and just a little bit smaller. Okay, then press 3 to go to the face mode, E to extrude inside, and just extrude it inside. It's a chance to use the ring selection, so select this and control and double click to select each edge. Okay, now let's do Control B and just round it. Okay, now we have this. Nice. Now let's make this button. Go to this button, press tab to enter edit mode, then 1 to choose vertex mode, and then just let's connect these 2 points. So select vertex 1, then shift and select vertex 2, right mouse button, then connect vertex. This button, this one, then G to connect them both, as I said. Now let's select this face, right? Then let's press E, then Y to extrude it on Y, and just let's have it like that. Okay, let's get it a little bit closer to see here. I think we need to make it a little bit smaller, so select this face, make it small on X first, so then on Z2, just to give it some weight. 1 and 2, GZ to move it. Let's move this just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Then this edge, and this edge, and shift and this edge, just a little bit, give it some rounded shape, and let's leave it like that. Nice. We can make it a little bit smaller, right? I feel like it's still S on X. Let's do the same thing here, like just select this, and this, then just smaller. Let's select this to give it some rounded shape, and let's leave it like that. If we do shade smooth, it will be looking nice. Okay, let's leave it like that. Now we basically finished this one, so let's make it look a little bit better here, just to see our shape better. Middle mouse button, go to here and go to render mode. Inside render mode we can see nothing, but let's go to the render. Be sure to choose EV and ray tracing, which will calculate the bouncing light. Okay, so let's go not here but right here and sceneward. This to activate an HDRI. Okay, but we just need it to be a little bit less strong, just like that. Okay, and this light, let's move it away on X. Okay, and just get a little bit higher, and this just to see our shape better. Okay, let's get a little bit more strong. Hey there, my lovely pumpkins. In today's video, we are diving into the subdivision method of modeling. Now, I won't lie to you, this technique can be pretty intense if you are just starting out. It's the hardcore way, and we are in this together. Now let's make the controller. We can use the bevel tool as we did before to make it a little bit rounded, but I thought about it and I want to use another approach, which is using modifiers. Modifiers allow you to modify an object in non-destructible way, which means you can always get it back as it was, and it is not confirmed until you press apply. Add a modifier, let's go to generate, and you have all these modifiers. So let's go to generate and do a subdivision surface. Now you can see it became like this. Like it's added more like levels to have more geometry. Okay, let's do it like that. Why it's rounded like this? Did we lose our object? We said it's not destructible. The thing is, we did not really lose it, because if you press tab to enter edit mode, you will see that your object is still here. So if you move this, this will move with it. So your initial object is still here, and if you press this, you will get it back. Okay, this is what it means by it's not destructible. It's an indestructible way to modify your geometry, and at any moment and at any time you can just go back to what it was. So let's do this again, and let's add it more. Okay, and let's leave it like that. Why it is more rounded? Like, we don't want it to be this rounded. The thing is, what it is doing, it's basically taking an edge like this one, for example, and trying to add edges around it and average it in a way to make it rounded. So it's average everything to make it this rounded, and then it do it to this, this, and this, to and every edge basically to make it rounded like that. So if we want to make it still straight to a certain point, we can just add another edge here. It's named a supporting edge, and like that it will not lose that geometry, so it will not be that rounded. Let's press Ctrl R, added an edge, and just take it up. Let's do this to down 2 and take it up. We want this to not be this like this rounded, so just Ctrl R and bam. See, Ctrl R and bam. See, and now if you go out of the row, look how it looks. Let's shade smooth it, and you can see it is pretty clean. Okay, let's go back to shade flat, enter edit mode, and if you press E, you can do this, and it will be very straight right here. You can do this to the top too. Like, if you choose all this and you press E, you can make it really flat. And as you can see now, it looks pretty nice. This way of modifying object and this way of editing is pretty useful if you are making a character, for example, because the character needs to be smooth, or some shape that it is dynamic, that have some curves. This way of modifying the object is pretty useful in this way. So now let's make the crease inside. If you go and press Ctrl R, and let's add it right here, and then Ctrl R and let's add it right here. Okay, and if you press on face mode and just get closer and select all these faces, press Alt then E, then along normals, and put it inside, you will get it like this, which is not really, like, it's averaging and smoothing it away like it did it before. So one way to do it is to redo what we did before, but as you can see, the shape is getting more and more complicated. Like, if you look to it, the shape now have two edges right here next to each other. It have these edges, it have this face inside, and these edges too. So the shape is getting more and more complicated, and because of that, if you want to modify something in the future, it will be a lot harder to modify it. So if we want to do it, we need to do this, then to do not this, like this, then to do it inside too. Like, get very close and try to add it one here, to make it like that, to make it pretty smooth like that. And as you can see now, if you need to modify this, let's say you want to move it up or move it down, or you feel that this is too much, you want to make it smaller, it will take so much to just modify it. So let's go back and let me show you another way to do it. You can select with edge selection, press on an edge, double click to select the full thing, and just right mouse button, and you have edge crease. If you press this, you can get this, like, you can make it a lot harder without adding anything. And if you do this to the outside too, right mouse button, then edge crease, you can do this, and you can make it inside. Let's select the inside tools. Let's select the inside. Is this inside? Yeah, it is the inside, right? No, it is not. No, here it is the inside. You can press Ctrl E to have all the edge options. Okay, like all these edge options, if you press Ctrl E, you get them all here. Edge, you have the edge crease, because as I said before, the right mouse button, it gives you a collection of most used basically tools in the edge and face and vertex. But if you press Ctrl E, you will get only the options specified to the edge. Okay, if you press Ctrl F, you get only the options of the face. If you press Ctrl V, you get the vertex options. So Ctrl E, the edge options, Ctrl F, the face options, and the Ctrl V, the vertex options, which are these options like face, edge, and vertex. And if you right mouse button, you get a collection of the most used tools of the three, of the face and edge and vertex. Now let's press the Ctrl E as I said, and edge crease is Shift E. Let's do Shift E, and let's do it. Here we go. The same thing goes to up. Select this and then Shift E and just crest. And as you can see, now you have the same result. Now you have the same result without adding any geometry. And if you shade smooth, it looks awesome. Okay. Let's go to edit mode again, and as you can see, they are turned purple because they are creased. What if you want to change this? Like, you did it like that, but you know, this way, like the adding this give you some kind of control, because if you don't like, for example, this turned, you want it to be more, you can just press G X and move this to modify it. Like you can, like let's say you want it to be like that instead. So now you modify it. But this way, it seems that you can't do it because you already did this. Well, you can actually modify it. Select the edges, then press N to get these options in the edit mode. It's basically the same options as before, that when you press N, like if you go like this and press N, you get all these options that have item, tool, view, and you can camera lock here. But if you are in the edit mode, you have some new options, which is this crease right here. Like if you select this, you see that your mean crease is 0.98, which means it's 98%. So you can make it 1%, which is like 100, or you can change it. Okay, like this. Let's make it 90% actually. Okay. And if you want to delete, like let's say you don't want any crease, you can just make it 0. And if it's 0, it's not purple anymore, and it is back. And you can just do this. So let's make it crease again. Now we have this shape. Let's press N again to make it disappear. Okay. Now let's add a hole for these two. First, let's like get it to 2, just to make it not as obvious, and shade smooth it later on. And then let's apply it. Actually I want it to be more. Let's give it back to 3 and let's apply it. Okay, that's better. Now after we apply it, you can see that now we have a lot of vertex and edges, which means it became a lot harder to work with it. If we want to modify this, before we can just select this line, this line, and just S on Y and just do this. But now it does not modify the whole shape, just modify this. So now it became a lot harder to work with. One way to make this a lot easier for yourself is by going here and choosing this. The shortcut is O, or just press this. Now if you press this edge, for example, and let's choose transform. Now if you move it, you can see you have this rounded shape that appears. Okay, so press G and just increase it. Okay, now if you move the whole thing together. Okay, so again J to see it, and on Y and just modify it. This is this became your favorite tool if your geometry became dense like that, because you can't really go one by one moving them. It will be a lot difficult. Let's go back. Let's deselect it because we are not going to do that. Let me show you another tool. Go to edit, preferences, and go to get extensions and look for the loop tool. Be sure to install this. Choose the loop tool here and go to install it, or just search for it here and install it. Okay, in my case I already installed it. Then go to added on and choose the loop tool and added it. Okay, now if you right mouse button, you get these options. H to hide it. Let's go back a little bit. We are going to try to make a hole right here, so go C. Let's choose the face mode. If you press C to get this rounded selection, and select all this like that. Okay, and you press Alt if you want to delete something, or just press, let's delete this, Alt, and Alt and press. Let's select this. Okay, right mouse button to go out of that circle selection, press and loop tool. You can get this, you can do it as a circle, and now you have this circle. Okay, and as you can see, it looks awesome. Now you can select these faces. Like, what if it was a little bit like that, which was like intersecting with this, and you had this artifact right here? What do you do in that case? Well, let me show you a tool. It's a good chance to show you this tool. What you do is basically enter a C selection, and you just select this. You just select this and select this small faces right here that having the problem basically. Okay, and you go to here, go with this or middle mouse button and just go to shrink edge slide, this one, shrink, and no, this one, smooth. You go to this smooth. What this do basically is it will smooth between the edges and make some space for you. Like, it will modify the geometry in a way that give you some space. Like, let's do it like that. Now let's smooth it out or back. See, and just smooth it until it's almost intersecting, and just leave it like that. Okay, last like, and let some space. Okay, and just see, now you fixed the problem. And it's not perfectly rounded right now for you, but you can just select this edges right here and just keep smoothing them. Like, select this and just smooth them back a little bit like that, and then just select this and just smooth it to give it that rounded shape. Okay, now you have fixed it basically. And while we are at it, let me show you something that I forgot to show you. Do you remember, like, if you press G twice, you can slide that edge? Here it is the tool. Like, if you forgot the shortcut, remember it's in the edit mode, it's here. It's the edge slide. You can just go and slide your tool. Now let's go to selection again. Let's go to selection again, and press C to select all those inner faces. Okay, here we go. And now press E and enter it to the inside. Why we are having this? Why do we have this? Is it because, oh yeah, it's because we did the, I know you are seeing it like that, and you are probably, why it is like this? It's because I used the shade smooth shade. I used this, so we are having this artifact because we are not respecting the edge. But if you press shade auto, you will have this degree, and basically if it's an angle of 30 degree or more, it will not be smoothed, and if it's under 30 degree, it will be smooth. So an edge like this, which is 90 degree, it will not be smoothed. But if we do here like 100, let's say 100, it will be smoothed like that. But for me, I always like to leave it at 30 and leave it like that. Okay, so here it is. Now it looks like that. We can do the same thing for the second button, which is this one. So just to be sure that that this is good, this is actually good, Alt H, Alt H, get your object back, and it's a little bit off, so JX, and just, you know, put it inside. And now look how it looks. It looks amazing. It looks awesome. Like, we can make this a little bit bigger. Okay, now that's awesome. Okay, let's do the same thing for this one. So let's go Y and just move it. So let's do the same thing. We'll go to C, select all this, Alt to not select the top, and just select all this. Bam. Then right mouse button, loop tool, and, you know, circle. And it is basically the same. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Like, if you press S and make it bigger, you may actually extrude sometime, or even on the Z. So to be sure that you are not moving into the Z2, S, then shift and select S. Now you have like excluded the Z axis. And just make it a little bit bigger. We have crossed it here, so it will be bad. So let's make it, let's actually relax it right here. Like, let's choose this row to this point, and then this row to this point, and then just choose the relax tool. This is smooth, and just smooth it, give it some smoothness like that. And then let's select the C and select all this right here, and just E, and just, oh my bad, C, and select all this, E. Okay, now we can shift D and exit right here, but I will recommend another idea, which is a chance to use another modifier, which is the array. Generate, then array. Array basically will give you a duplicate that you can like make 2, 3, 4 buttons if you need. Let's make it just 2, and on X, on Y, or on Z, depending on what you want. So let's make it right here, and because of that, it duplicated everything. And the best part is what? If we do something to this, it will be applied to this too. So if we shade smooth it, it will shade smooth too. If we say like, you know what, we want on plus of array, let's add the subdivision, it will be subdivided too. Okay, so let's do the same thing to this one here. It's a smaller one, so let's make it just around it. Let's go to face mode, C, and press not all this, let's C, and just select this, then select this, and Alt to cancel that selection, and just this. Let's, you know what, let's add this. So let's press C again and add this. Alt to deselect this, and C to select even from here a little bit. So bam bam. Okay, something like that. Okay, now right mouse button, loop tool, and circle. Now you have this circle, which is awesome. Okay, so now let's select this circle, make it a little bit bigger without really like entering the other ones, and just E and Z, and give it some this. Okay, here we go. You can see that we have like something around it, right? So let's do the same thing to this. One way to do it is, you know, let's hide these two, 7, and let's hide them. Okay, like, let's get closer, and let's try to make something around this. So using the knife tool, where is the knife tool? Here it is, using the knife tool, shortcut K as it said right here. So K, we can do this. And press enter. Now if you select this, and you select this from here, you can smooth them a little bit, you know, to give it some space. Smooth them a little bit. Ah, my bad. I can just deselect this. Now you can press E and just get this edge up. Maybe not that much. JZ and just get a little bit up. Something like that. It seems that this point needs some like modification, so maybe just modify this a little bit. This and this and this. Not really smooth them, just move them. J on Y. This one too. J on Y. Just give it some space. You can just modify them as much as you need. I will leave this to you actually. So for me, I will just keep it like that. Okay. And now you have this. Now it looks like that. Oh, my bad. Okay. So now let's Alt and H and get our thing back. Let's smooth this. Let's smooth this. You know what? This happened the same mistake here because we have like 90 degree there, so it's better to use this one and keep it at 30. Now Shift D, go down and just make it a smaller part. And here we go. Make it smaller. Something like that. Maybe a little bit bigger. Okay. And if you select this and go to like this one and just vertex, you can delete all the vertex. Press 1 to go to the front view, of course, and you can delete all the one. Like press B and just go right here, delete all this. X and delete faces. Now we have only the half of it. And let's go back. Here we go. Now we have made this object. We have used some modifiers. Like I forgot to say this. A shade smooth, this shade smooth, auto smooth, is actually a modifier that you can apply if you want. Let's leave it like that. And use the array, and use the subdivision, and we even use the loop tool to make some cuts in the object. Okay. Okay. Now there is something that I wanted to add to this, because if you look here, it's very hard as an edge, so we can actually bevel it. So select the face, hide it, then select this again. Then let's do this. Double click, then shift and double click, then shift and double click. Let's take this off. I don't need it really. Then shift and double click, shift double click. Be sure to not select inside. Okay, here too. Be sure that you are not selecting inside. I am selecting inside. So, and let's go to here. Be sure to not select inside. Okay. Okay. Oh, and shift double click. Be sure to not select inside. And what you can do is Control B, and you just be sure it's just small bevel, just to give it some. Oh, I forgot. Select this and select this. Control B, and just give it certain degree, like to this point, for example, and leave it. Okay. Now Alt H and get your object back. Okay, you can do this the same thing here. Select this and this, and just Control B, give it a certain. Here too, Control B, just a little one, something like that, and just leave it. Now we have this. You can do it basically for everything. I will leave this to you if you want to do it. For me, I think it is now. It is enough. Shade smooth this one too. Okay. And save. So now let's make this cassette using the same way of modeling used here, which is the subdivision way. We can of course use the same way as we did here, but I just want to show you more about using this way and about modifiers too. So let's start. First, select this. It's always a good way to leave a copy of your main thing in case things did not work well and you want to restart over. So just Shift D or right mouse button, then duplicate the object. You can of course move it like this, but we want to keep it in the same way it was, so just put it right here and click. Now let's hide it here. Now choose your cassette, go to view, local view, and toggle local view. That will isolate your object. As you can see now, you see only the object isolated. You can press period to go back to it, or go back to view, local, then toggle to get everything back. So let's use the shortcut. Choose your object to isolate it, then press slash. Now when you look to the reference, you can see that this half is basically the same thing as the second half. So it's a prime opportunity to use the mirror tool. The mirror tool work using the origin point. As you can see, our origin point is a little bit down, so it will be nice to center it. So select your object, then go to object, set origin, and origin to center of mass. Now it's in the middle. Now enter edit mode using tab, and while using the edge mode, Ctrl R to get in this edge here. Press 1 and don't move it, and press twice to put it down. We need to delete this because we want to mirror this part. So Z, then wireframe to go into wireframe mode. Press 3 to go to the face mode, and then select all these faces. I am in the tweak, so I can't select, but I can press B to select, or you can just go here and just select the box and just select. Press X to delete everything and delete faces. Okay, now we have deleted the faces. Z, let's go to solid. Now we are in solid mode. Go out of edit mode. You can't use a modifier while you are in the edit mode usually. So go to object mode, then go to modifiers right here, then added a modifier. Generate, let's go to mirror. Now we have our mirror. As you can see, if you go to edit mode again with tab and go to vertex mode by clicking 1 here, and if you move this, now it's mirrored. Okay, so if you press one of these two in the limit right here and you move it, you can see that it is not connected together, and this is not what we want because we want this to be merged together. It will be one point here. So using this clipping, press in it, you can specify how much distance it will be between 2 points to merge them. So let's make it 0.001 should be enough, but if it's not enough, you can get it more. Now, like as you can see, now we can't really separate them. Let's get it back. But if it's not merging, you can get this more, like make it 0.05 or 0.1 or something that works for you. Another thing that I wanted to say, by default, the mirror tool will work about the origin. But what if you want to mirror 2 points depending on an object or something like that? You can do it by selecting this. Okay, so for example, if we go out and press Shift A and get, let's get an empty object just to use it, and it is right in the middle, right? So now let's move it right here to be right here, then J, Y, and just put it in the middle, around the middle. Okay, so now what you can do is choose this and choose your empty right here. Now you can see it's modified by the empty. So now if you press the empty and J, X and move it, it will move your mirror image. You can get it to whatever point you want, but in my case I really don't need this, so just get it as it was and just delete this. Okay, now press tab to enter edit mode, and let's add Ctrl R to add an edge, then put it around here. 3 to enter face mode, press this and you can either GY or just select the gizmo and just move it a little bit. It's okay that at the beginning you forget a lot about the shortcuts. This is why I'm trying to show you both ways, because I know it's pretty difficult and pretty annoying that sometimes you know what you need to do but you forgot the shortcut. So it's okay, it happens always at the beginning, but with time you will get used to it. Now let's go back here, E, and go down around here. Okay, this is too much actually, so let's get right here. Then let's get more actually. Then you can use the unset, like you can see that this is should be right like this, so you can use the unset face or press E and just enter a face. Okay, now you can see that this should be more connected to this. This is what we want, so check off this and it will be like that. Now that's nice. Then press E to get more up again, and here we go. Okay, this is nice, but as you can see it's a lot edgy, so let's actually add the subdivision. So you can press here to minimize it like that, then added generate, and let's added the subdivision. Let's make it more and like this. So let's do the same thing we did before. So select your object, enter edit mode, then choose, wait a second, choose the with edges, select this, this. We can of course use more geometry, but I really recommend at the beginning not adding a lot of geometry. So press Ctrl E to get edges options, and then go to crease edges, which is Shift E, and just make it a little bit like that. Okay, press N to get these options. Is it either this or this, and you can just add a bit more if you need to. For me, I will leave it like that. Then let's do the same thing here. So this, and this. Okay, so just crease it. Okay, this, and just crease it, and just this, and just crease it. Choose all this, and all this, and inside, and even this, and just, and this is the right one, yeah, and this too, this, yeah, and just bam. Okay, if you want to select the inside faces, they may not show, and if you press Z, then went to wireframe, it may be a little bit like difficult to see exactly your mesh. So it will be nice now to just go to solid and actually make this, which is this one, edit mode. Now your subdivision will not show, it's still there, but it will not show in the edit mode. Just to select this, like to be able to select this, and then like crease them to around this, and select this face, crease it to around this, and we have finished most of it. Now let's get it back. Now it looks like this, and as you can see it looks pretty smooth and pretty nice. Okay, and now if you like, let's make it like this. If you smooth it like this, it will be awesome. Like, and you can see this edge is not being smoothed, but if you get a little bit up, it will be smoothed. Okay, now it looks awesome. You can leave it like this, or just leave it as it was. Like, let's choose this again and do this, because I want to smooth this inside too. So go to it and just increase with each Shift E if you want to. Okay, now let's get it like that. Now it looks like this, which make it pretty nice. Okay, as you can see now it seems that you have a bevel tool without really using the bevel tool, and in a very non-destructible way. Like at any moment you can just go here and modify this to get a different bevel. You can modify the edges and you get different bubble without really being destructible way. So now let's make the other things that should be here. Okay, so now let's add those edges that are right here. You can, in edge mode, go to loop cut, add one, and just get it a little bit up. Okay, like just around here, and then another one, and just around here. Press and put it down like that. Just press once and then just move it to here, then press once and just move it to here. Okay, or you can use the shortcut, which is Ctrl R and put one and just slide it up to here, and Ctrl R and slide it up to here. Wait, I did a mistake, but it's a good chance to either press J twice and move it up, or go here, edge slide, and just slide it up. Let's do this actually too. So let's slide it up around, I would say around here, and then around here. Okay. Now close to the edge, double click. Wait, I mean in the face mode, press 3, then close to the edge, press twice, then shift, double click, then shift and double click, then Alt E, unlock normals, and just put it inside. Okay. For now it looks pretty ugly, I know, but take this off and let's make it. So double click this, then shift and double click this, then shift and double click this, then shift and double click this, shift double click, shift double click, shift double click, right here, shift and double click, 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 and just crease it. Okay, good. Now press this, and now it looks like that. For me, actually, this one, this needs to be creased more, so I just crease to maximum and leave it like that. Like now, if you shade auto smooth at 40 degree, you can see that it looks pretty smooth. Okay, and this is actually it. We now made it, and it looks pretty smooth, pretty nice. And let's put here just to see it more, and it looks nice. And we actually learned a lot about using the modifiers. Okay, so now let's go out, press N, let's go out of this isolate mode. It's either by view, then local view and press, or numpad /. Let's get it back. Of course, now let's actually create the ground mesh plan. Here it is in the middle right here, and just make it bigger. Okay, we wanted to close all this, so now it looks like that. They are a little bit flying, but it's okay. Now let's choose it and added another modifier, because it's one plan. Okay, one way to do it is to add a modifier, then generate and solidify, and it go offset -1, it means go down, and 1 it go up. So let's make it 1, and as you can see, now you can just make it like a box, or just shift A and just get it a little bit up, just enough. So yeah, they are on the ground. Now select all this and just Z on Z and just put it on the ground. Okay, now select this, Shift D on X, then get it down right here. Okay, Z on X, A on Y, just put here. Now R, rotate it on X by 90 degree, while R, X by -90 degree, and just put it down. So this order is pretty important. We can always move it like this or up. This is marked to be always down, but we can move this by pressing on these points right here, left mouse button, and keep clicking, and you can hold, and you can move it. So these 3 points, hold and then move. now shift D, get it up. Before actually we do shift D, let's there is like a thing that should spirit it right here, so let's go here, and just added it right here, so up like this on Y, and just put it a little bit inside, and this is it, and leave it. Okay, so just leave it like that. Let's actually make it a little bit smaller. I mean like S, Z, and just make it a little bit smaller, and this is it. Okay, here it is. Now select both of them, shift D and Z, and rotate it on Z a little bit, then shift D on here and here and here, and I want actually to show you another tool. Let's do this. Let's move it a little bit up. This too, let's move it a little bit up too. I want actually to put the same one here, but mirrored, like in the opposite direction. So one way to do it is select your object that you want to mirror, then shift D to duplicate it, then let's put it right here for example, then control M, and you see that it is like turned white. Now you can choose the axis, like let's try maybe X, no, not X, maybe Z, no, it's not Z, maybe Y, and there it is Y, and now it is duplicated on Y, it is mirrored on Y. So let's put it like that and leave it like that. Okay, let's go. Just to show you something, let's use keep pressing of course and select a cylinder. Let's put it right here like that, and then enter edit mode. Let's make it 16. Okay, and then let's edit it to be like a cup, so let's put one round here. Let's double click all these edges a little bit higher, and then let's actually subdivide it. Generate subdivision, let's make it up, and this E, let's make it right here, right, just to have this like this. Of course we are not going to make everything, I just wanted to show you something. Let's make it like this to mimic that we have a face right here, like E twice, because we wanted to add more edges, and just leave it like that. Okay, like now smooth it and leave it like that. It looks pretty smooth, it looks pretty nice. Okay, like we can add something around here I mean, and just give it something shaped like this or shaped like that. It's depend on what you want. Okay, but what I wanted to show you is this. What if, let's say, you want to create the handle? You can press this right here, press this right here, it's the beginning, then this and this to be the ending. Okay, then you can enter in the front face mode. Wait, before that let's select the faces that we want to, let's say these two faces, yeah, let's say this face alone, and press here, and here you can use the control and right mouse button, control and right mouse button, control and right mouse button to extrude using this tool, which is the extrude by cursor. Okay, so now what we are doing, we're basically choosing a way of extruding it to get it like the shape we want. Then at the end we can choose the, let's say on solid mode, we can choose the this two right here, no, these two, right mouse button, bridge faces. Okay, and now you have bridged them. So this is the first thing that I wanted to show you. The second thing is sometimes you want to separate some vertex or some edges. Come here, rip region, and you just press this and you just move it. Now you have separated these two edges. You can do the same thing about this and just separate. Let's separate these two. Just let us do this. Okay, now you have separated these points, and you can actually, you are in selection mode, press V and move it, press V and move it, and like that you have separated this point. Okay, then what you can do is basically, if you want to join them back, like let's say you have vertex that are separated and you want to join them back, it's with M, like you choose 2 points and then press M. This gives you the merge options, so you can merge at center or at cursor or at first or at last. At first, basically it will merge it at the first point you chose, and at last it will merge it at the last point you chose. So let's say here we choose this one and then this one, so this is the last one, M, at last it will merge both of them. Choose this again, M, at last you will merge them both again, and you can do this too here. So these points, M, at last, these 2 points, M, at last, these 2 points, M, at last, and then these 2 points, M, at last. Okay, and you get everything back. You can select every point, then press M and merge by distance, which will give you a distance, and you can merge depending on that distance. This is pretty useful if you have like a duplicated vertex on top of each other and you don't really know where are those duplicate vertex. Like let's say you have 2 vertex right here duplicated, like let's press this and just duplicate this vertex and press it, and then here too duplicate and put it down. So now you have 2 duplicates right here and you don't know where are they. So you are working and you know something is not working, you know it's probably duplicate vertices or duplicate faces. So what you do is choose every vertex with A, press A to choose everything, then M, then by distance, and you can see it say like remove 2 vertices. It means like it merged those 2 vertices, and you can even choose the merging distance. What I wanted to show you too, yeah, like I wanted to show you, like let's say you have these 2 objects, this one, let's shift D, and so now you have these 2 objects and you want to make them one object. Select one, then select the second object and press Ctrl G. Now it's the same object. Actually now you have merged these 2 objects, now they are the same, but let's say you want to separate some edges or some shapes. Like let's say you created this face and for example you want to create something and you just get it up and then you extruded this to get some shape, and then you want to separate this object and you don't want this object to be part of this object. Then enter edit mode, select all the adjacent of this mesh, so press L to select them all. Okay, and then press P. You can separate by selection. Now you can see that these are one object, this is another object. You can do the same here. So here press L to select all this, then P and separate by selection. Now this is an object, this is an object, this is another object. Before we wrap up this video, let's make those stickers around here because it will be a good chance to show you how to work with the snap tool. We did not use yet, so let's try it. So let's create those stickers. Shift A, mesh, and then plane. Let's move this out of the way just to see it. So instead of starting rotating this and move it right here, there is actually a good way to just snap this to here or to any face basically, which is using the snap tool right here. So if you activate the snap tool and you can choose either the face, like let's do the face, the increment, the grid. Like if you choose increment, it will move with 1 meter or 5 degree if you rotate and 1 meter if you move. Okay, but if you do it right now, you will see that it is doing nothing. It's not snapping. Why is that? Well, because you actually need to activate it right here. Go to move, it will be activated, the snap will be activated on move and on rotate and on scale too. So now if you move it, you will see that it is moving 1 meter each time, like this too. And you can move it on the grid or on the vertex or anything. Because we want this face to be snapped to this face here of this object, it's a good way to use the snap tool on face. So if we activate face and do align rotation, look what will happen. Let's go and move it. You see how it snap and follow the rotation of that object. So let's put it right here. Okay, let's get close. Let's place period to focus on it. Now it looks like that. You can now deactivate this and get it back to increment. Go to added and let's add the solidify. Make it on plus so it will go outside, and just give it some thickness, because it's true that it is a paper and it is thin, but it needs at least some thickness. Okay, so let's apply this. Now we have this, and enter edit mode and let's subdivide it. We can use the subdivision right here, but let me show you this way. Right mouse button and go to subdivide. Again, right mouse button and subdivide. You need to select everything and then subdivide. If you just, for example, choose this face and you subdivide it, it will only subdivide that face. So you need to choose everything. Now we give it some geometry. Why did we do that? Because we actually want to deform it, and to do that we need more edges and more geometry. Of course we can now start moving it one by one, but there is actually a modifier for it. Let's go to deform, and here we have simple deform, and as you can see, now it's deformed. It's twisting it on X or on Y or on Z. Okay, we actually don't want that. We only want to bend it. But maybe you have this problem just like me. When you choose bend, it gives you all these options that we don't want. This is a common problem that happens when you actually move or rotate your object or even scale it. And you can see all this is like different numbers. For the scale we did not scale it, so it's still 1, but all this is different numbers because we move it and rotate it. And because of this, the deform tool is not really following this. This should be like 0 0 0 0 and this should be 0 0 0 2 to make this tool work very well. But of course if you move this, it will like do this, and you don't want to do that. So what you need actually is to apply the location and the rotation, and when you do that, all this becomes 0 again. So select your object, then Control A and apply location. Everything went to 0 and this moved. Control A again and apply rotation, and this happened, and look how it looks now. Don't forget, go to object, set origin, and to the center again, and now here it is the center. Now if you go again, if you go to Y, it will bend on Y just fine. Okay, on Z too. Now it works better. So let's do this, and of course we can just move this like that, but it bend more around it, and maybe, and I don't really want that. I want to be this bending more around this, so, and it's bending around the origin point. Okay, you can choose an object and put it here and bend depending on it, but I would prefer on origin as it is. So go here to this tool and choose only origin. Now you can only move the origin. So if we do this, we move only the origin, and let's get it up there, and now it looks like that. Okay, let's take this back again so we can move the object and go to modifier and just bend it more. Okay, let's give it some bending like that. This is good actually. Then let's apply this. You can leave it like that actually, and then you can just shift D and move it on Z to have another one. Okay, on top of this you can add a modifier, deform, and another deform, just to give it some deform on X too, like just little bit of deform on X, and maybe go back to this and just make it a little bit down. This, make it a little bit down, and just move it outside too. Here. Okay, so now I think it looks pretty nice. Let's just make it less, something like that is a lot better actually. So now take this, shift D, and move R, Z, and minus 90. Wait, R, Z, and minus 90. Just like that. Maybe we can make it smaller. This needs to be smaller. Okay, let's leave it like that. Small note for this note. Okay, now we have finished this. This actually looks a little bit big, so let me fix that. S on Z and just smash them. Let's just move them a little bit down, and here they are. Okay, and there we go. And this S on Z too, so something like that. S Y, and just give it less thickness. Okay, now we have basically finished the modeling. One last thing I remembered I did not talk about too. I know there is a lot of things I'm talking about, but this is pretty important actually. So if you move this object, it moves alone. It does not move with this because they are not the same object. But what if I don't want them to be the same object, but at the same time I want when I move this, everything will move with it. So to do that, it's actually a parent-child system where like when the parent moves, the children move, and this is what we need to do. So choose your object, start with anything, and be sure that the parent will be the last to select. And if you select the parent, you will see a remark that its color is not the same as the other, it's more yellowish. So now press Ctrl P and you get to set parent and keep transform. Now what we have done, now if we move this, they move all together, but if we move the children, they move alone, and everything is still its own object. So now this is good for us. We can do the same thing for this, so we can choose this, and choose the parent as the last one, then Ctrl P, keep transform, and now if you do this, they all move. Okay, and you can see that if you go to the cube, now it have all those inside to it, because now they are its children. Okay, so like if you choose this and you don't see it, and you are like, oh, where it is, it's actually right here, so don't worry about it. One last thing I wanted to say about this is like, if you want to rename anything, you press F2 right here, or you choose something and you press F2 right here to rename it. And if you want to put anything inside an object, you can choose them. Like let's say we choose this, let's say choose all this ones, and press M right here, alone, M alone. You have like, you can create a new collection and put them inside it, like it will put them automatically in. It's just for organization purposes if you want to organize your scene. And basically this is it. We have finished now making our object, and it is ready to be textured, and we add materials and texture to it. If you made it this far, know that I am very, very, very proud of you. You have done such an amazing job, and I know it's difficult. It takes so much time to learn this stuff, but you have stuck to it, and I'm proud of you, and I hope to see you one day achieve your dreams. See you later. And that's wrap it up. Great job, my dear pumpkins. You have made it to the end of the modeling phase. You have done an excellent job, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself, because I know I am.